I'm not CSS Python projects. I'm console. These I do Python programming, not CSS. That's why I said console project. If you have any console project you want me to try. Here I don't do HTML and CSS programming. I do Python and once in a while JavaScript, but my life is mostly for Python development. So if you are new to HTML and CSS, I feel there are better like videos on YouTube that you can watch. I'm not really into design. I'm not really into the front end stuff. I'm more of a back end developer. But I know if you want to design, if you want to work with grids in HTML and CSS, you can either use mainly people use the div tag, but if you want to cheat your way through it you can just use the table tag. That's what I do most of the time because like I said I'm not really comfortable with like design, so most of the time I'll use tables so I don't have to start implementing a lot of CSS. But if you're comfortable with CSS you're just passing the div. Then I think there are like different like for example your display, there's a display grid, so your display method is going to be the grid. You can now start setting it to whether or not you want it to be inline, so that there's a whole bunch of settings. I'm not really good with CSS. Just learned the basics, I'll be able to implement it. No problem. So if you are here right now, today we're going to be working with on regular expression. So the reason why I did not address regular expression as Python regular expression, because the syntax for regular expression is the exact same for any programming language you are jumping into. Although the model we're going to use the Python model, I don't know if the model is the same for other programming languages, but I know like the regular expression syntax is the exact same syntax you're going to be implementing in any single programming language you're going to work with. So to the first part of the video, we're going to just try. I introduced you all to regular expression yesterday. Then today we're going to dive into it. And after that, like if you can see, I say if you have any console project you want us to try and attempt it, you can leave it in the description below. I think I have like two projects I want to try and work on. I feel they're like beginner friendly. So I have like a converter, like maybe weight converter or hi Jason, or maybe currency, and then there's a guessing game. Then rock paper scissors is good, but I've already done used rock paper scissors twice already in this life. So I don't see the point of us doing it again. If you still don't know how to implement rock paper scissors by now, I don't know what to say honestly. But the source code for the rock paper scissors, both for JavaScript and for Python, is all in my GitHub. So let me add this thing. Let me add this. Let me add this. Let me add this. My network is slow already. I hope the network is not affecting the live. And I think I'm falling seriously sick. Oh gosh. Once more people join, we're going to jump in. But right now, you can just leave. Like, if we have time, I want to see if we can solve. Like, cause we have finished everything. Everything like relating to beginners in what do you call it, in Python. So the only thing remains for us to do now is to practice and see what we've learned by using making like trying out projects. So if maybe like there was a project you tried attempting and you weren't able to figure it out, you can let me know so we can attempt that together. And all the source codes will be linked um in will be in my GitHub. And this will be in the description below. All the source codes will be in my GitHub. Um in will be in my GitHub. And this will be in the description below. All the source codes will be in my GitHub. So let's just wait a bit more longer. Let's wait a few more minutes and to see if any more people join. While we're waiting, just be liking the light so that they can start suggesting the video to people. But yeah, do you have any question for anything relating to Python? Whether you missed when we covered it or you were there and you didn't really understand it. If you have any questions relating to Python, feel free to ask now so I can catch you up to speed. If you are just joining, we're currently doing a live Python tutorial. Today we're focusing on regular expression and we're going to be trying out different Python projects. So if you have any question on any single thing in Python, you can start asking your questions now so that once I introduce the regular expression, you would understand what we're doing. While we're waiting for more people to join, please feel free to start liking the likes so that more people can start joining us. If you are just joining, welcome. If you have any question on anything relating to Python programming, you can start asking your question. I'll take these first few minutes to answer everybody's questions. Today we're jumping into regular expression. So I introduced it yesterday, but I didn't really do anything on it. So today we're going to be focusing on regular expression. If you're just and you have any project that you attempted and you had an issue with the project, you maybe did it and your source code wasn't as good as you wanted, you can leave the project below. So once we're done with regular expression, we're going to jump into all the projects that I see and we're going to try solving them. So I'll just wait. It's 11:20. So let me just wait 5 more minutes. Just wait 5 more minutes and then we'll start officially. Oh my gosh, I'm seriously sick. I don't know how I fell sick. I was okay this morning. Hopefully I'll have the strength to finish today's live because I'm feeling very sick. I don't know why I'm feeling so sick. And I don't want to sleep because I attempted sleep in the afternoon. I didn't feel like sleeping. But when I wanted to work on the project, I just like, oh yeah, speaking of working on project, so after we finish working with Python with this currently we're doing beginners level Python programming. after we're done with this, I don't know if I should do an advanced level. That's when we now start introducing the mathematical aspects, or if I should just introduce you to a framework. Because with this basic knowledge of everything we've covered so far, you'll be able to start working with a framework. So I can introduce you to Django. So I don't know if you saw the video, the last video I uploaded on TikTok. So I'm like, I want to duplicate, I want to start cloning all these websites. So I googled and I got a list of websites that were created with Django. You have Instagram, Pinterest, Spotify, YouTube, Dropbox, and a lot more. So I was thinking I'm going to start do cloning all those websites. Although the issue I have, like I've been saying it since day one, I'm not a designer. I don't know how to like start. I'm not good at styling, so I don't know. I'll use the rest of this day after this live finishes. I'll go and see if I can get the template from GitHub. Maybe there's someone who has cloned like the HTML of what do you call it, of any of the websites. Anyone I find, I'll now just create it. So just add the functionality to it. So I'm a backend developer. So if I'm able to find any templates on GitHub, then during the week we'll start coding. So we'll just import the template. Then sheet we'll now start adding the technical features like the database, the models, everything. We'll start implementing it using Django. And I was feeling I just really wanted to do that today. I don't know why. I was watching videos on TikTok and the thought just came. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm just dropping it to see if you all are interested in that. If you're interested in that, then we can look into doing it if that is of interest to you. Okay. All right, 3 more minutes to go, and we're officially going to start with regular expression. If there's any question you have, this is the period for you to start asking the question. So that once we jump into regular expression and start solving questions, you wouldn't be confused, you wouldn't be lost. So if there's any ask any stupid question related to Python, I would answer it, or anything you're unsure about, ask now. We have 2 minutes to go and we're going to officially start. Share the live if you know anybody that'll be interested in this. Share the live. Really, maybe we'll try and link up. Kulani, is that your name? We'll try and link up. I'm currently I've not really jumped into data analysis yet, but that is the next thing I want to go into. So I'm still I want because I don't want to just jump into it with just Python and everything now because there's like some math suggestions. So it's just the maths that is holding me back for now. So I just once I'm done, like I'm currently learning algorithmic analysis. So once I'm done with that, I'm just going to jump into. I'll just pick up a framework for data analysis and start implementing it. But I want to finish learning the math aspect. So that's why I've not yet started doing that. But it'll be nice to um talk with you a bit more. Wow, it's like I didn't even know like a Python developer as much here in Nigeria. Because whenever I'm looking to work with Python developers or stuff like that, I hardly find anybody. As if every single person in Nigeria is coding is a JavaScript developer. I don't know, or if it's just the people I'm talking with. But almost everyone I've tried like working with, they are all JavaScript developers. So I didn't know there were a lot of Python developers here in Nigeria. That's nice. really, really nice. Yeah, very, very few. It's very, very few, and it's actually very frustrating. Oh, you don't use Python for your data analysis. Okay, what is the rate of Python developers in South Africa? Yeah, no, I'm on a lot of Facebook. I'm on a lot of Facebook groups for Python developers. So, like that is literally the first thing I do every month. That's where I get most of my inspiration for projects I want to work on. Like I can't remember when I tuned in and I saw this guy who used Tkinter to develop a whole banking system. Like it was nice. Like quite right. It was looking like all these 2001 desktop apps. It was nice. I've been trying to recreate that, even though I can use Django to do it better. But I was just trying to test myself. So that is I was supposed to be working on it, and I just got tired. I think I'll look for where the code is, and I'll see if I can even revisit it. So I'm like a lot of groups. Not I'm in some Python groups for Nigeria. I'm in some for Africa, and I'm in some international. But like you see, if you want to get like want to work on a website for someone now, because I'm currently just focusing on web while I finish learning this math stuff. So if you're looking for like websites you want to work on, most of the websites are already established. We're all built in what do you call it? We're all built in JavaScript. Like I was supposed to do something for someone the other day, but the person, because someone just told the person that I'm a developer, they didn't tell the person I'm a Python developer. So the person thought I knew how to code in Vue, that is MVue.js. So when we're talking, another person that I don't know JavaScript, I think that's even one of the things that is motivating me to start having like a basic idea of JavaScript right now. So like at least while I build myself here on social media, I can at least get a job to start like taking care of myself in the meantime. Oh, okay, that's nice. All right, let me jump into regular expression. I don't know if I should wait a little since everybody I'm talking with here knows Python. I don't know if I should wait a bit for like because there's this person, I think his name is Shio. He's always here every single day. So I don't know if he's not online yet because he has not yet joined us. But he's here every single day. So I usually like waiting for him to join us so that he'll be up to speed with what we're doing. I don't know. All right, now let me just jump into regular expression. All right, so we have exactly five people now. So let's go. So, um, regular expression it's a sequence of characters that forms a given like that generates a pattern to help you search for specific things in your program or in a string or in your file. It's kind of like when you press Control F when you press Control F in the program you are working on, you are calling up a dialog box that is going to receive an input from you, and using that specific input is going to search. But the difference now between that control F is that you can pass in a string or pass in characters or digits, and it's going to find it. While when you and it's going to find it. While when you are working with regular expression, there are special sequences and metadata that you are going to pass. Now, if let's for on what do you call this app, Visual Studio Code allows you to actually test your sequences to see if it's working the way you want it. Sorry. So if on Visual Studio for regular expression and I wanted to test it and run, so let's just do something very basic. Let's do backslash D. I don't think I have any numbers here though. Let's do backslash small letter D. So this is a sequence, or this is a special character in regular expression. So I can just use that to search. Although let me search for something that I have here. Let me search for something I have showing us highlighting points where the our sequence is going to give out true. So let's say if you are right, like if you are seeing like the official release of the regular expression for testing for email addresses, you know that regular expression can sometimes tend to be very, very long. So instead of having to keep running your program every single time, you can just pass it inside this file. I don't know if it's only, let me check if it's also on the browser. Control F and Alt R. Yeah, and I think it's only Visual Studio Code that offers that. Check if it's also on the browser. Control F and Alt R. Yeah, and I think it's only Visual Studio Code that offers that. So on your Visual Studio Code, you can just search for what it is, like just passing your regular expression, and it's going to show you what like used for testing. Hmm. The model we use for testing for regular expressions in Python is the RE model. So we have already covered models and importing models and working with models. So if you want to work with a model, you just import and you pass in the name of the model. In this case, it's RE. Now, luckily, this model is, I don't know if I should call it built-in, but it's built-in in the sense that you don't have to install it using pip install. Like there are certain models or there are certain packages that when you want to work with them, you have to install them first into your system using pip install before you can now import them into your program. But this one isn't one of them. So um there's different types of there are like there's a list of metadata that that oh shit. There are a list of meta characters that regular expression receives. So let me comment the section out. So I'll just list everything within it. So the one I implemented when I wanted to use it in the find dialog, when you have your square brace. So what is square brace? That any single character that is passed within the square brace, you are basically saying that if let's say I was to pass a um ABC, so you are saying I should search within the program anywhere I see the letter A, or I see the letter B, or I see the letter C, I should pop it up, I should bring it up. That is like I should return it as a result for what I'm looking for. Next you have this your backslash. So you use this backslash. It's kind of like the way you use backslash when you're working with normal it's like an escape character when you're working with your normal Python project. So if you want to call a special character, you'd usually use this backslash. Although an alternative, the one I prefer is making use of raw input. So remember when I was talking about formatting strings, when I was saying you can pass F and you pass the F outside your inverted commas. So instead of F in this case, you can pass R, which will allow you to get rid of having use of this backslash, and you can just call in the special character the way you'd want it to, the way you'd want to call it. Next, there is full stop. So what this full stop says, like it said that you can call any character, usually a single character. So any character except the new line, that is like the jumping to a new line. So you can input any character as long as it's going to be on the straight line and you're not jumping to a brand new line. Then there's this, I think they call it a carrot, or a can't, I don't know what to call this stuff. So it's used to show that it's the beginning of the program, like the starting the okay. See, he has joined. See, I was waiting, show. I was trying to wait for you so that you can join. I didn't want to like go far before you join, although I've not really gone far, sha. Yeah. Should I let me just go back a bit since we have not gone so far. Let me just go back quickly. Let me just brief you through everything we've done. So remember, good evening. Remember yesterday I was talking about regular expression. I see today we're going to dive into it fully. So I introduced it. Regular expression is like is usually used to search through a given data list or whatever. So it's a combination of different characters that have been arranged in a specific sequence to help you generate results that match that given sequence. And I told you if you wanted to test against a sequence you are writing to see if it's working the way you want it to work in your Visual Studio Code, if you press Control F and then you press Alt R, it's going to pop up. You can see this box here, so you just click on the box to be selected. You can now start testing it against your instead of just passing it with normal English sentences, you can pass with your regular expression sequences and it's going to return, and so you can see if your code is working the way you want it to work. Now I said like remember those meta characters you listed yesterday, is even them and their special and all those other special sequences, they are the exact same in every single programming language. But I said I'm not sure if the model we make use of here in Python is the same across all languages, but the sequences and the characters are the same. So if you want to work with like the regular expression model, that is this model. So you import RE, and I'm saying you don't need to install anything, just call the import RE function. So I'm explaining most of the meta characters and I'm explaining how they all work so that you can understand them. So the very first one is making use of this square brace. So I was saying the square brace is used to search for a set of characters. Let's say if I were to pass A, B, and C into it, whenever I call it, what it's going to do is going to search through the program. Any single place that the letter A and it's case sensitive, mind you, it's case sensitive. So if I put capital letter A, it's going to return capital letter A. If I put small letter A, it's going to return small letter A. So but if I pass this program into my search or if I call it my program, it's going to search anywhere that A or B or C occurred, is going to pull it out as a result. Then the next one is your what backslash. This is backslash. So this one is when you want to call special characters. Like full stop is a special character here, but if you want to just call full stop as like a normal string without it having any special features, you make use of the backslash. Although I was saying that personally I don't like making use of backslash, so the alternative I use is raw input. So it's like same when I was introducing, I don't remember when I was talking about formatting strings, when you call F, I now call this inverted um commas. So you cannot just be passing and be calling your variables, and if you want to print out variables, you call them inside curly braces. So it's almost the same thing for when you're working with raw input. It's called raw input when you're working with raw input in Python. So you pass the letter R, then you have your inverted comma. So when you are passing, so now I can just be passing full stop. I can pass backslash. All these sensitive stuff that we use within the oh shit, all the sensitive stuff we use within the regular expression, I can call them as basic text now. Then there is full stop. So the full stop is used when you want to say like you can call any character can be there. It can be a digit, it can be a character, it can be a letter, any single thing except from a new line. So new lines are not part of this dot. So the dot usually is for one word. So if let's say I want to have like maybe I want to write a sequence that is I want to generate maybe price. So price is Pri. Shit, I forgot how to spell price. Prize. And let's say I wanted to remove this I here and search for I. So I'll do Pr.ze. So quite right, any letter can be passed into there, but it's going to search for any word. Okay, I think let me see. Let me use this ellipsium so I can get a demo data so we can be testing it. What do you call that stuff in HTML to generate random text? They just ah generate dummy so I can get a demo data so we can be testing it. What do you call that stuff in HTML to generate random text? They just ah generate dummy easy. Let's just get a paragraph. We don't need anything much, just so we can be testing much, just so we can be testing. Then you see that I think I made that like what the first thing you see when you search my page. I don't know, I can't remember. But if you just go to my playlist, you see this playlist there, so you can go and check it out for yourself if you're interested in that. My network is really poor. I don't know why my network is really poor. It's going to be affecting the life. Alright, so I've generated a paragraph. Let me just put this into a text.py. Oh, sorry. Let me just put this into a text.py. Oh, sorry. A dot text file. Okay, so let's try. Let's if you're not really seeing the screen very clearly, there's a circle at your right bottom side of where my own screen is displaying. So just click on that circle so you can turn your phone horizontal. I think that's the word. I don't know which one is horizontal, which one is vertical, honestly. But yeah, so if you see all these ones that are highlighted, we have C is highlighted, A is highlighted, where we have A and C together is highlighted. So it's not like it's searching for a like what is that word, like it's following a special sequence. No, it can be at random. You just say search for A or search for B or search for C. The second one I introduced you is backslash. So backslash, there's something that's going to come after it. For example, if you want to test for digit is backslash, small letter D. If you want to search for anything except from digit is backslash, capital letter D. Then you can see it's highlighted everything. So capital letter D is searching for every single thing except we're going to get into this one later. So just know that when you're using backslash, you are going to be searching for characters. For sorry, then we're going to get into this one later. So just know that when you're using backslash, you are going to be searching for characters. For sorry, you're going to be passing special characters. Then there's full stop. So I said full stop is to search for any single character except a new line. So it's going to highlight every single thing because everything here is a character, but it's not going to highlight your like new lines when you're jumping to a new line. One, let me clean this one. I was going to explain. So I don't know. Do you understand? Because the main reason why I went through this whole spiral because I was trying to explain how full stop works. Do you understand it now, or should I take it again? I want you to like understand each individual meta character first. That's why I didn't want to jump into it yesterday. Also, if you want me to make a cheat sheet for this, you can let me know second after this video is done. I'll just make a simple cheat sheet and just link the Google Docs, whatever this stuff. Where is it? Where is it? I can't find it. This stuff. This triangle, like it's usually like when you're writing raised to power on your calculator, that's what you usually use for raised to power on your calculator. So I don't know if it's clear. I feel you guys cannot see it clearly. Let me clean this stuff. Can you see it? This stuff, this it. The beginning, so like the first letter. You're checking for the first character in your string or in whatever. Hmm. Okay, let me just try and change my let me change the network I'm using. Let me see if that will help. Okay, you only got the full stop. Did you understand this first one I did here? This the square brace. Did you understand that? Did you get it? Do you understand it? Do you get it? Hmm. All right, let's jump. Let me just start from this carrot. But I don't know what they call this stuff. Let me start from this thing again. So it's like it's if you're on your laptop, it's the symbol that is stuck with the number six. So whenever you call it, you are saying that the very first character of the string or the very first character of the file, depending on what you're using it to find for. They are saying that when you call for a string, anything that comes after it must be the first character. So let's go back to our input file so we can see what I'm talking about. So if I were to call this carrot stuff now, and let's say I call the letter all right, so let me jump into the next one then. So, I mentioned like carrots using it outside of your square brace is used to signify the beginning of your string or your line. Then you have the next one, which is the dollar sign. So the dollar sign is used. Oh gosh, the dollar sign is used to signify the ending of your string or your line. So let's go back here. Let's call out dollar sign. So if I call the dollar sign now, I then now to pass in the dollar sign is going to appear before it. So if I say I wanted, let me look for one that I have it. So give me that as an output. So let's say T. So we want to search for something that ends in the letter T. Ends in the letter T. Oh yeah, sorry, all of them end in full stop. Let me clean up this full stop here. All right, there. So if I want to search for something that ends in the letter T, you can see. Let me clean all this full stop here, so it's not going to affect me when I was making use of them again. Okay. All right, so there we have it. So if I want to check for anyone that maybe ends with the letter D, I'll just pass in D and everything. So when the general syntax of when you're working with regular expression, if you want to do like a full search through every single input, the very first thing should be your caret and the very last thing should be your dollar sign. So if you want to pick up the character that is the last character on your string, it's going to be the character that appears before the dollar sign. Okay. And then finally, there is the asterisk. Okay, not finally, sha, but next there's the asterisk. So this asterisk says that you can either have no inputs or you can have multiple inputs. I don't know if you understand that sentence I just used. So when you have full stop is asking for just one input. Then the asterisk is saying you can either have nothing there or you can have multiple inputs there. So if let's go back here and let's search. So if I'm passing asterisk, every single thing should be highlighted because every single thing in your program falls into it. So asterisk. Oh, we have not yet passed in a function before it, so we need to like pass in a sequence. Okay, let's say we want to pass S and want it to have an asterisk after the S. There, everything's highlighted because every single place in your program there's an S somewhere, and now going to just flow with every single character that passes around the X. So it can either be nothing or it can be as many inputs as you want. So do you understand? Do you understand what I just explained right now? Should I take it again? Do you understand? Should I take it again? And please, if you are just joining, if you know anybody that would be interested in watching this video, please share the live so we can get more people here. Okay, so I said I okay, first remember earlier I explained full stop to you. So I said if you call full stop, then you're saying you can have any single character at all. You're not asking for a specific digit, you're not asking for a specific alphabet, you're not asking for a specific character. So it's a bit similar when you now call the asterisk. But when you're now saying with asterisk, so when you have full stops, full stop cannot be empty. If you call full stop, you must have at least one element passed. But at least you can have only, I think full stop only even takes one element, or only one input. But else, if we call asterisk, asterisk can take implementation of asterisk will be maybe when you want to create a program that will select, or like the way your control all for feature works. Because control all is going to highlight every single thing that is there. So asterisk highlights every single thing. So if you are thinking about asterisk, you just think about control A. They are similar, they are related in a way, they work alike. All right. So did I help you out? All right. So did I help you out? Should I jump to the next one? Should I jump to the next one? All right. So if you have the next one, we have called asterisk. So after asterisk, another one is the plus. So that is your like your normal addition plus. So what this one says is one or more. So remember asterisk says zero or more. So with asterisk you can have nothing or you can have everything. But with plus, when you call plus, you cannot have nothing. You must have at least one element found. There must be at least one element in your file or in your string, and they can be as many. You can have an endless amount of elements there, but you must have at least one element. So with asterisk you have zero or gazillion. With plus you have at least one. Then with full stop you have only one. All right, now no problem, Kulani. Okay. Then another one is this question mark. So with question mark, you are saying you can have either zero or you can have one. So you cannot have more than one, and I don't think there's anything less than zero, and you cannot have less than zero. So let's take through with all these ones that are receiving inputs. Full stop. I'll create a cheat sheet and I'll try and finish customizing it and release it today. Tomorrow is already 12 o'clock today. Full stop says you can have only one element passed. You can have zero, you can have more than one. um Asterisk says that you can have zero and you can have an endless amount of inputs. The plus symbol says you cannot have less than one, but you can have an endless amount of inputs. Then the question mark says you can either have zero or you can have one. So you cannot have more than one, and you cannot have less than zero. So did that explain all those ones? Those are kind of like the general sequence when we don't want to call a specific character, but we want to have like be like, okay, for example, we're going to use email, we're going to create an email sequence. It's not going to be perfect because if you see, let me Google it and just show you. If you see the regular expression for an email, then go regular expression for email address. The one I saw was very, very long. Can you see it? So this is where it starts from. So you know we said caret. So the caret is your starting point. So this is it. And the dollar sign is your ending point. So this is it. So this is regular expression for an email address. You can see how you are seeing like random words that you don't understand. So we're not going to do anyone this complex. We're just going to do a simpler version just so you can understand how regular expression works. So let's go back. So I hope you have understood the full stop, the asterisk, plus, and question mark. Have you understood it, or should I take it again? Because those are like some of the main things you must understand when you're working with regular expression. Because the amount of times you use it is ridiculous. So do you understand it, or should I take it again? If you don't understand it, let me know. Is this asterisk I'm seeing? Yes, asterisk. And for asterisk is zero or more. Yes, plus is one or more. Yes, if you pass multiple characters, it addresses any single character in it as a single character. So it doesn't like work as collections of characters. Okay, so if you call a carrot outside a square brace, it's signifying the beginning, like the very first letter or the very first character in your sequence. But if you call it within a square brace, you're saying look for any single thing except from anything that has that specified words or specified letters that you call within the square brace. So outside the square brace is the very first element of your program. Within a square brace, it's any single thing except from what is inside there. Right? Are you caught up with that? Okay, I've not explained the pipe symbol, but the backslash is used to call special characters. Like all these characters I've been working with now, like asterisks, full stop, and also ones. When you're working with regular expression, they already have like significant meaning. But if you want to search for them as like normal symbols, like if you just want to search for it as a basic full stop in your elements, you call the backslash first, then you call it. So you don't want it to act as a regular expression, you want it to just be a normal character. Then the pipe, I've not explained pipe symbol though, but pipe symbol is used for all. So it's kind of like what we did in the square brace, but you don't call it in the square brace. You're saying look for A or B. Then dollar sign is saying dollar sign is the ending of is the ending of is the ending of your sequence. Yes, backslash is an escape character. That's why if you want to search for backslash, you do backslash to search for backslash in your elements. So just the very first backslash you're calling is working as a regular expression, is to help you call, like, okay, let me use. Let's say for example, I have asterisk. So asterisk typically has a significant meaning in regular expression. So if I were to just pass asterisk here, it's not going to give me anything. But if I pass this backslash before it, you can see now my asterisk is highlighted. So did that simple presentation help you understand it better? Same as, okay, let's use backslash now. So ideally, backslash is an escape character, is a meta character. So if I were to just pass backslash, it's not going to highlight anything. But if I now pass backslash again, this backslash is highlighted. So the very first backslash we called is called a sequence, and I wanted to search for the letter A. It's going to give me where A appeared only once. But what if I wanted to search where I had like a con like two A's appearing together? You know there are some words that if you search for it, you have AA together, joined together. So what if I wanted to search for something like that? How would I go about it? So what I'll do is I'll call a coily brace. So if I wanted to search for where A appeared once, like a single A, I'll just pass in one. I was going to highlight every single spot where A appeared as an individual character. But if I wanted to search for places where A appeared as a joint character, maybe there are two things, there are two A's on together, I'll pass in two. And it's going to highlight the one. And I can keep passing multiple numbers, multiple numbers. So let's create another one here so I can show you something also. A and 1, 2, 3, 4. So what if I wanted to search where I had a range starting from two A's joined together to maybe somewhere around four A's joined together? So what I'll do is just, if you remember the if you okay, did I introduce you all to the range function in Python? Just like the way your range function will work. So we'll have two, and we'll just pass in a comma, and we're going to have where we want to stop at 4. So if you keep pressing enter, it's going to be covering all of them. You can see it. All right. So that is it for the coily brace. Now that one the one you just brought up to us right now, the you called it the pipe what? Pipe symbol. So the pipe symbol, I've already explained it, is used to work with or without having to call it inside the square brace. Because no, if you are making use of the square brace, like me, I would advise you to use the square brace. I don't advise. Let me show you the things me personally I don't advise. This backslash, don't advise it. This pipe, don't advise it. What is a better alternative for the backslash? This raw input. Better alternative for this pipe, the square brace. So they all have this similar. Although them, I feel me, I don't really use regular expression much. Plus, if I want to search for anything like email address, if I want to confirm email addresses, I'll just if I work with Django, so Django by default search that for me already. But when I was still learning programming newly, if I wanted to search for email address, I'll just go and steal somebody's own syntax from the internet. But I'm sure maybe if you are someone who makes use of regular expression a lot, there may be certain situations where this one will be more efficient to you. But what this pipe symbol is saying is just let's come here, let's come to our test interface. So it's just saying I want to search for the letter A, or sorry, no space, or I want to search for the letter H. So if I keep like scrolling down, it's going to select A and H as I continue searching. Or I don't see, now I'm looking at it, that let me use the letter that exists. E there. So you can see it's highlighting E's and A. It's highlighting all the E and A. So it's just the same thing as the square function. If I were to call this thing inside my square brace now, let's call it square brace. The square brace is still going to highlight everywhere that A and E occurs. So you're seeing it still does the exact same thing as your square brace. So it's just to check whether a certain character or another character made an appearance. Um, and finally, the last one is parentheses. That one is just it works as a group, like to group elements together. If you want, maybe you want to search for a specific group, you use the parentheses. I don't know how else to explain that one. So it's just going to say like that one follows like a syntax. So unlike square brace is searching for individuals, but this one is going to search for where both of them appeared together. So you can see it's only one place we had where both of them appeared together. So if you want to check for a string of words together, like for example, when you're searching your word, you know when you're working in Word document, when you go to control find and you pass in a word, it's usually a letter, or so it's usually a word you pass. It's not just an individual alphabet you pass. So the way that the system is able to give you that string of word without just passing you random letters that have all the letters you call is by using parentheses. So it will group it together as one word and search for it as one item instead of as different characters. Because remember, I say strings are a collection of characters. So instead of searching for it as characters, it's going to search for it as a joint unit. I think those are all the special characters there are. I mean, all the meta characters. Those are every single one. I don't think there's any other one. Is there any other one that I've not mentioned? I don't think there's any other one I've not mentioned. That's all. All right. Then the next thing is the sequences. So I've already mentioned a couple of them, but let's come to a new line. Hopefully, I will not forget to release that stuff. So, or you can even Google it. You can even Google internet in case I don't release like the documents with the list of sequences. You can Google it. The internet will give because I feel I like I said, I don't really use regular expression that often, so I wouldn't be surprised. For these meta characters, these are all the meta characters. But like for these sequences I'm about to introduce you to, I will not be surprised if there are some sequences that I'm going to miss. All right. So the very first one is this backslash s. So like that is a small letter. So when you're working with all these sequences, the small letter and the capital letter are different. They don't give out the same output. So okay, let's start with s, since that is the basic one. That is one I know I've never forgotten. So if you search for backslash s, what that one is the small letter s. You're saying if you are checking for white spaces, you know what white space is now when you press your middle this big button to like skip it, it's like leave a line or jump a few boxes. So if I was to do backslash small letter s, you can see if you look clearly. I honestly don't know if you can see my screen clearly. If you are not seeing clearly, just that second stop, just press on it. So it's going to flip your screen. But if you look, you can see every single thing that is highlighted doesn't have a character in it. So it highlighted all the white spaces. So backslash s is for white spaces. Okay, let me give you this cheat code that I have been using. If you call a small letter and a small letter like this backslash is small letter, whatever the small letter does, backslash the bigger the uppercase of that. Okay. So let's say you were to call backslash s, for example. Now the backslash uppercase s is going to be the opposite of what backslash lowercase s did. So like backslash lowercase s search for every place that we had a white space. Backslash uppercase s is going to search for every single space except from where we had a white space. Do you understand that? That's like a cheat code you can just keep at the back of your mind if you are trying to remember what and what isn't what. So okay. So another implication or implementation of it, backslash small letter d brings up digits. Okay, I don't have digits anywhere. Let me impute random numbers around my system. I don't have any digits in this one I imputed. Just random digits. So I can just search for the digits. I think that should be enough. So backslash D is going to highlight all those digits, while backslash capital D is going to highlight every single thing but those digits. You have backslash okay, this method I just gave to you now wouldn't apply for these three ones I want to tell you now, Sha. Backslash capital A, search for like you are using it to search if something is at the beginning of the elements. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to look for how to implement this AI. I can't remember how to do it. So let me just test something quickly. More specific, you can search what we want it to start with at the beginning. So if you part carrot and you part seven, it's going to just search for everywhere that the seven begin, like any word that starts with seven. That is what they're saying that that backslash A is supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to do, but I don't know how to implement it. So you can go and learn it if you are interested in that, or you can just use this easier method, which is just this caret symbol. Same way as for the dollar sign. If you want to check for what is at the ending of your dollar sign, you make use of the backslash B in capital letter. And if you want to search for random words that are appeared within your program, that is just within, like anywhere at any point of your program, you use backslash B. So you can go and just research. Let's be small letter. So you can go and research on those three things if you want to understand them. But I honestly can't remember. I've not written in regular expression for God knows how long. Okay. Um Then next one is you have the backslash W, small letter W. That one is used to search for any single thing from uppercase to lowercase to numbers and including the underscore. It doesn't search for all those other characters. There's something you pass if you want to search for characters, or you can just make use of the raw function. But um this one will search, it will call, like, let's call it backslash small w. So it highlights every single thing, numbers, letters, underscore. But if you now use the capital letter W, so remember I said whatever the small letter does, the capital letter does the opposite. So the capital letter doesn't highlight anything. So it's going to highlight all these blank spaces, it's going to highlight all these characters, things that were not picked up by the small letter. So that's just one thing I kept at the back of my mind. Whatever the small letter does, the capital letter will do the opposite of it. Okay, and the backslash Z is what you use when you want to search for it's this one is a bit similar also to when you're working with that MDB. It's to give you like a but this one, B picks up characters. Z is supposed to pick up a string of words. I don't know why I don't know how to implement this one. I don't know why. I don't understand why it's not working. Unless it's that Python, this version of doesn't support it. I don't know. But ideally, Z is also supposed to return every single character that ends like this one allows to search for a string of words. Why be only search for characters? I honestly don't know why I don't know how to implement this one again. But it's still the same thing with implementing the dollar sign. If you pass a list of words and you pass your dollar sign is going to search for those words because you didn't throw in any other special character like full stop, asterisks or whatnot. So you can go and read it on your own. I don't remember it, and I'm really not going to stress myself to it because I'm never going to make use of it. Okay, so remember I was telling that there's a way for you to search for all these special characters um that you cannot make use of. So if you want to do that, there's this stuff called sets. So it's still similar to that square brace. Your sets are basically square brace. So if I wanted to search for special characters, I'll just include them inside this square brace. Instead of having to like use that backslash to be able to call them as normal characters, I'll just call them as square brace. Do I have any special character here? Let me call some special characters. So all those special characters that serve as metadata, we have asterisks, we have plus, we have question mark. Let's just work with these three. So if I wanted to search, remember I told you earlier on, if you wanted to search for question mark, you do backslash question mark to be able to search for it. Or you can just call question mark inside the string. You can see I've highlighted it. Or if you want to do for asterisk, just call asterisk inside this set. It's going to highlight it. So if you don't want to use, so most of the time when I work with regular expression, because regular expression is usually very, very bulky, you are trying to look for the most presentable version. So I feel when you group everything, it makes it more presentable. Not that you've seen backslash every single place. Do whatever you feel works best for you. But the way that backslash and calling the function, like the special function it is you want to work with, does is the exact same thing that calling them within this set would do. Okay, so I think these are not all, but like these are all the basic sequences that is available in regular expression. So you can even go to their official documentation and you can see you can get more information on what each individual thing means. But let's jump into the RE model now. So let's jump into the RE model. So I told you there's a model in Python that, okay, first, is there any questions? Do you have any questions? All right. So let's go into the Python model. So we're just going to brief through this one. There are just three main functions within that model. I don't know if they are mod, but there are just three functions within that model that I usually made use of: the find all, the search. Okay, there are four: find all, search, split, and sub. Ba find all, search, split, sub. Yeah, those are all the functions from the regular expression model in Python that I usually made use of. So there may be more, I don't know, but those are the ones that you'd actually have need of. So let's first of all import the model, import RE, because that is the name of the model. Then let's work on the very first one, the find all. So what this find all does is that it returns a list of every single element that contains what it is you're looking for. So should I go back and start accessing this file? Okay, let's open up a file. I don't know. Do you remember how to work with files? We did that the other day. So I want to check. I think it's input the text that we're working with. Okay. Let me assign it into an element. So just say f is equals to, okay, no, we already have f, sorry. We'll say h is equals to f dot read. So we can just get every single information present in this element. All right. So if you want to implement the find all, we'll assign it into a new variable. Then we can now print that variable. So what the find all does is, if it maybe tell it to find for every place that the letter A occurred, it will look for all those things and assign it into a string. And when we print it, it's going to print out the list that was generated. So we have, let's say, B is equals to RE, because we didn't, if we're actually if we're, let's say we imported from RE as text, we will not call RE, we'll just call find all. But since we didn't, it's going to be RE dot find all. Then we'll have a parenthesis. Oh shit. We'll have a parenthesis and we're not passing the string that we're looking for. It's usually always a string. And let's look for, something that is common. Let's look for A. You can search for a string of information also. And next, the variable we want to search for it's in H, Ctrl S. And let's print B. I clean the F now. All right, so you can see it printed a list of every single place that the letter A occurred. So quite right, it didn't really show it to us as like telling us like the location or anything, but it's just kind of like to let you know how many times. So if you want to know how many times A occurred, we can now, instead of printing B, we can maybe print something like lead. See, this is giving me an idea of a project I want to work on. we can now print len inside parentheses. So we want to print the length of b. So we can, it's kind of like to know how many times, because you know usually when you're searching for something here at the side, you see how many times the word you're looking for occurs. So we can now print len and b, so that it will give us the length, which is going to give us how many times the word we look for occurred. So a occurred 82 times. So let's confirm this. Let's come back to our input text file. Let's search for a and let's see how many. When you're working with all this, this RE model, the model is very much case sensitive. Okay. Do we understand find all? So we can jump into the next one. Search. Okay. Let's continue then. Um um search. So So, when you're working with Finder will return a list that is a collection of every single thing you are looking for. First, let me check something. Let me know if I have to, let's just continue it like that. Well, what search does, it just returns the very first place that it occurred. So, if let's say we're to change this from find all to search, and if not, like, so one thing about search, I'm not going to dive into this though, but there are plenty ways you can call a search function. You can call it by, you can pass in a string, you can pass in the span function to return it as a tuple, you can pass in the group function. So that one is like a whole thing. You can carry it on it based on your own. But, what I'm just going to do is just start it. I'm just going to start it. So if I want to start it, just to pass the variable name and just call the start function. So the variable name in this case is b, because that's where we're passing the action wanted to carry out. And it's going to be b dot start, and we'll also have a blank parentheses. So let's run it. Okay. So it printed out, so it showed us 22, which is the location at which the first, it's kind of like the index that the first A occurred. So I just finished counting it now. So this L here is our zero. So this L is zero, one, two, three, four, five. You always count white spaces. Five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, which is what they gave us as the input. So the index at which the very first occurrence of A is at the 22nd position. So you can use that if you want to, maybe you're working on the project, so you have found it now. What if you want to jump to it? So you can use this to jump to the exact index where what you search for is at. So like I told you, there are other search functions that exist with this stuff, so you can go and read further on them on your own if you're interested in that. But the stat is what may I just have an interest in. Okay, the next one is split. So this one, remember? I don't know. Do you remember when we were working with split in strings? When we split a string into list from a certain point, maybe we can split it at every white space or split at every comma, depending on how we want to split it. So this is a bit similar to the to what we did when we were working with strings. So let's say this one, let's not input from this file. Let's start afresh. So let's create a variable. Let's say name is equals to my name, obviously. Okay, and I wanted to split it, so I'm going to call r dot. Now the thing is that in this one, now when you're splitting it, we're not just going to call in, when we're working with it in what do you call it, when we're working in string modification, we're just passing basic characters. This one, instead of characters, you're going to pass regular expressions. So we'll call we can say x is equals to re dot split. Then okay, this first one here is going to be the regular expression we want to split at. So we want to split at every white space. White space, remember, is backslash small letter s. And after that is going to be the variable we're splitting. In this case is name. And once we're done, we'll just print x. If we save it and run it, hopefully it's going to generate a list for us that one is Chibudom and the second is obasi. If not, I did something wrong. Oh, I didn't import re, sorry. Let's import it. Import re. So let's save it and run it. Right there we have it. So he has created a list that the first one is Chibudom and the second is obasi. All right, so that is it. Okay, the next one is sub. So remember, when if you are familiar with Word document, that you have two options for searching in Word. You can first search, that is find, and you can find and replace. So when you call the find and replace action, is this sub that does it. So what this sub does is it assets to input. So we have created a string name. So I said x is equals to re dot split. Let's change the split to sub. So sub takes two inputs. The first input is going to be it takes three arguments. Sorry, the first argument is going to be the word you are looking for that you want to change. So let's just do it as white space. The second argument is going to be what you want to change it to. So let's change it to maybe a comma. And finally, the variable it is you want to change from. Let's save and run it. So you can see it, instead of a white space now we have a comma. So that is basically every single thing or every single basic stuff that is relating to uh, regular expression. So do you have any questions you wish to ask so I can answer them? Do you have any questions? Okay. Since there isn't any other question, I think we can just call it a call. We can just call it for today because I'm feeling very very sick, honestly. Yeah, I'm feeling sick. So I just I need to go and rest. So I don't think we'll be able to solve projects today. So if you have any projects you'd like us to solve, you can just maybe keep them in mind that once you tune in tomorrow, you just let me know what the project are so we can solve them. Or you can just leave them as a comment in my Instagram or my TikTok or my YouTube. And once again, if you have not yet checked out the YouTube tutorial that I released, that is a crash course for a 10 days crash course for Python programming. So it's not supposed to be like a detailed tutorial, it's just to like give you an understanding of everything relating to Python programming. So you can at least start taking simple exams, then or when you want to advance it, you can have a better understanding. So you're not going to be like a plain beginner. So you can go and check it out. I'm going to be dropping day 10 today. I think the day 10 is this regular expression also. I think I may not just even use this TikTok live. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be feeling better. I'll see if maybe I can go to and get drugs to help myself out. But thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you here again tomorrow, 11 p.m. I don't know if I should start by 12 p.m. No, 11 p.m. 11 p.m. is better. 12 p.m. is a bit late.